Okay, Basant, you know what? Yesterday I was hearing this audiobook, Market Wizards by Jack Schwager, and one thing which stuck with me is that there was this quote that to be a professional athlete, you need some kind of God gift. You can still, of course, improve, but you need some kind of God gift, right? Is it true to become an investor as well? That regardless of how much work you do, is there something which is God given, or can anyone become a successful investor?
I think this theory about whether cricketers are God-gifted, whether singers are God-gifted, whether investors are God-gifted, I mean, there's no right answer. But if you ask me, you have to start poor to do something. Because if you have all the luxuries in life, then there is no real need to really struggle hard and do something big. So I think anybody who's done really well in this place has normally started with his back to the wall. I normally say you have to be financially insulted in life once at least. So then you think that I have to do something out of it. So I think that creates all the God gift. It creates the natural flair. It creates the, what we say, form is permanent, form is temporary, class is permanent. I think all of that is an output of how you have actually dealt with at the start. And one thing which is very important is, if the money you bring to the market is the one which you can afford to lose, you will lose it. You have to come to the market with that money which you say, I just cannot lose it. So 99% of people come to the market and say, 50,000 लगाते हैं, चला जाएगा तो क्या होगा? वो चला ही जाएगा.
Basant, welcome to the show. I love these little anecdotes that you give us. You need to start poor. I take that point entirely. I mean, someone very famous once said that the only reason I want to be rich is because I don't want to be poor and face that hurdle in my life. All right, but we were just discussing, Anuj and I, as to how this is a market where people, retail investors have made a lot of money and now are starting to get a bit greedy, jumping onto some of these big themes. But how do you assess the risk reward in such a market where anything and everything is rallying?
So it's a question of how you define money. If somebody's made 2 lakhs or 3 lakhs, I don't think that's a lot of money. If somebody makes 5 lakhs, I don't think it's a lot of money. Most people, most retail investors who came into this market in March, they've just seen one side of the game. They've not seen the other side. And let's leave that aside for a moment. I think most people come to the market to make 5,000 rupees a day, 10,000 a day, maybe one-way return ticket to a vacation. So that's not what you come to the market. You have to come to the market to make 5 crores at the end of a lifetime, then 5,000 at the end of the day. So if you look at it in that context, I think most retailers haven't just put their first foot on a very long journey. So if somebody is saying he's done well for the last 3 months, well, he's got very small goals in life. So I think this is just a small flash of what is to come. But retailers mostly, they come to the market thinking small, and market, it creates careers, it creates lifestyles, it creates history. So in a place where you are being offered a 7-course meal, and if you're happy with, say, dried chapatis and fried potatoes, you have to look elsewhere also.
Can it be a combination of both, Basant? You have your 5,000 rupees a day as well, 10,000 rupees a day as well, and 5 crore, 10 crore over the life of the market. Can you be a successful trader and an investor?
Yeah, you can be successful as a trader and as an investor, but you need a big stomach as a trader. You can't be it's not a question of success, it's a question of satisfaction. What satisfies you? If you're satisfied with 5,000 a day, maybe the stock where you've just sold off thinking you've made your 5,000 for today, if held, it could make you 5 crores for the next 5 years, for the next 3 years also. So when you put a mental lid, a mental cap on how much you want to make, you're actually closing yourself to a very long journey. So that's the problem. So anybody whom you'd speak to is interested in making that 5,000, 10,000 every day. So I think the first an investor has to think, what is he in here for? So that's the first thing. If he's here for 5,000 a day, no problem at all. But this is a place where you can make more.
Has there been any personal experience which has taught you this, Basant? It's coming straight from the heart.
I mean, a lot of them, Anuj, I started, and this is last month, I just figured out when I started, Hindustan Motors was 30 rupees in September 1991. So first year in college, that's when we started. And Harshad Mehta drew us. See, Anuj, the big thing is everybody says that there has to be passion when you come to the market. I don't agree. I think you come to the market as a greedy guy who wants to make quick money. And everybody starts off like, at least I started off like that. I wanted to make quick money. Once you start making money, the passion develops. Once you've made enough money, then the passion comes in. The passion doesn't come first. The money has to come in. So for the first 9 years, I've always wanted to make that 50,000, 1 lakh, 2 lakh, whatever. Not a day, obviously, but I kept losing. Then in 2000, 2001, it came to a point where I had just so much money, I just couldn't afford to lose. And that's when things turned. So I speak from what I've done.
Okay, so if you had to give your 20-year-old self some advice now on how to select the right company, what would your advice be?
Several. The first thing is never shy away from a stock that is making new highs. I think the real pot of gold is in a stock that is making new highs. And a stock that makes new highs is telling you that there is something in the price that you don't know. So of late, what we've started doing is if a stock makes new highs, even if we don't like the sector, we'll spend 1 hour, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, half an hour studying it. So we've never bought steel for the last 20 years. So if Tata Steel makes a new high, then we'll certainly go and see what's happening there. Stocks and commodities and bonds, they don't make new highs without a reason. So the simplest of them all is avoid the stocks that are making new lows and look at stocks that are making new highs, something which you would have read Anuj in Jack Schwager's book, something which fundamentalists would scoff at. Arey, new highs kyun lena, new lows low. But you know, the real experience is the new highs tell you a new story and the money lies in the new story.
Okay, money lies in the new story. That's interesting because, you know, I have a follow-up on that, but that we'll do in the second segment of this show because there's this whole growth versus value argument which perhaps will tie in with what you're saying. But, you know, since you're talking about, you know, stocks and selection and buying stocks at new high, how important is the management quality versus for you? Or is this, you know, squarely about the business and not as much about the management quality?
Two things. First and foremost, it's a business. So Tatas are supposed to be the best management in town, at least for the last 2-3 decades that I've been in the market. But Tatas also run a steel company called Tata Steel, an auto company called Tata Motors, and a software company called TCS. And look at the returns. Kingfisher Airlines, Vijay Mallya killed it at the stroke of a hat, but he could do nothing to United Spirits. So, you know, management is important, but management has to be in the right kind of a business. So if you give Michael Schumacher a Fiat to drive from, say, a Linking Road to Nariman Point, he would drive only as good as you. But if you give him a Ferrari on a Formula 1 racing track, then he would do much better than all of us taken together. You're so right. Management in the right business is the real thing. Yeah.
Yeah, no, I would do better than Schumacher, at least on Mumbai roads. that much I can say.
He would have no experience with the potholes and how to...
he would be horrible on Mumbai roads.
Okay. So, if you had to, you know, if you had to sort of relate the Tata Group to a Fiat or to a Ferrari, which one would it be?
I mean, the Tata Group is an auto showroom. They have a Fiat and a Ferrari both. Depends on what you want to pick up.
Okay, all right, got that. You know, we're getting a lot of viewer queries right now, so let's go straight to that. Many people have questions for you. Shyam Agarwal writes into us. He asks, the current mid-cap rally looks really enticing, but given the severe adversities at hand due to the COVID-19 pandemic, will they be left with fuel to cross the finish line? If yes, what are your top sector picks? You know, this is a question that we get asked a lot. Which are the companies that will fly and which are the companies that will die in this post-COVID era? Your thoughts?
Yeah. So the market changed very quickly. Pre-COVID, post-COVID, peak of COVID, bottom of COVID, vaccine coming, vaccine not coming, hydrochloroquine working, not working. So I'll give you very quick things. What we did was, so at the bottom of a crisis, we normally had the biggest churn ever in our life. So we would buy, we bought a liquor company, for example. We thought liquor is home delivery, at least this will survive. In 1 week, we saw that the COVID numbers are coming down. So we got out of it. So basically, the market is turning very fast. And I think if you take a 6-month view, the sectors that have been impacted the most by COVID will perform the best. If you take a 2-week view, obviously the defensives and the COVID-proof portfolios would do well. So it's just a question of the perspective. So stocks have rallied 100%, 150%, but this happens every time. It's not how much money you make in the market, it's how much you can retain. So if you have that in mind, I think you'll have a better perspective on how to deal with it. I think financials are going to come back, and they are coming back, the first signs, because without financials, you can't have a market, you can't have an economy. The economy needs financials.
Okay, that's important. It's not, it's how much money you make, but how much you retain is more important. I think that's very well said. Basant, stay on. We need to take a break. We'll come back with more queries for Basant Maheshwari, and of course, we'll keep answering some of the queries that are coming in. Keep sending them to Ask CNBC TV 18 on Twitter.